Hey there, my name's Juna and I'm a coach. I am a corporate trainer and I'm also an intuitive. And today I'm going to be exploring a topic which is, am I processing too much? So basically, I got some feedback recently from a dear friend, and he very gently suggested that I open to the possibility that I might be processing a little bit too much in some of my close relationships. So, what is processing in the first place? Processing is in a relationship, in a deep connection, focusing on what's going on in the relationship that might not be working, what I have issues with, what the other person has issues with, some of our coping strategies and our more shadowy elements that are coming to the surface, and maybe kind of grinding it out or talking it through or feeling frustrated about it and wanting to talk about it. So that's processing in my experience, at least. And I feel like I've prided myself on being someone who doesn't process too much. My ex-husband came to town, and after getting this feedback from a friend, I asked my ex-husband, "Do you think I process too much?" And he nearly choked on his food during lunch and said, yes. So it's a little humbling right now, and I wanted to bring this up in a video and start to explore why it is that we might have an orientation, a fixation on processing. And so one of the things I like to do whenever I'm perhaps doing something unconsciously is to ask myself, well, if I am doing this thing, what am I getting out of doing it? What's the payoff? One of the great questions I learned from Kathlyn Hendricks to ask, what is the payoff from doing this thing? So I asked myself that question, and the answer that just bubbled up was intimacy, and kind of gave me pause. Oh, when I set the stage for processing with another person that I care about, there may be that it may be that the content is real, that there's some true issues going on, but actually what I'm really wanting in that moment is intimacy with the other person. And processing, sitting down to talk about issues in the relationship is one way of creating intimacy. And for me and those little young parts in there that get that payoff of intimacy through creating a processing session, it starts to train my brain to say, oh, we get good things if we do this kind of processing thing. So that just kind of arose for me as something to be cognizant of is, am I using processing or talking about challenge as a way to get intimacy, as a way to get connection? And I wonder if there's a much more direct way in those moments that I could get that intimacy and connection that I'm really craving, maybe just by asking for it, saying to this person, hey, I've noticed that we're just kind of talking about superficial things, or we're hanging out watching a movie, and I'd love to create more intimacy in our connection more right now, or a little bit more presence in our connection right now. I wonder how we can do that, or are you even available for that? So that's just something that has bubbled up for me as something to play with. And also for me, just getting this feedback from two people who are close to me right now has made me aware of the fact that our brain has a negativity bias. So in the mindfulness world, what they've seen and what the brain has been shown is that it has a bias actually towards negativity, and that this has ensured our survival as humans. If we're walking around out in the Serengeti and we're looking for what's wrong, what's out of order, we're noticing that something feels off, we're more likely to see the lion. If we're just walking around seeing rainbows and unicorns everywhere, we might miss the lion, and then we're not going to survive. So naturally, our brain can orient towards what's wrong, what's not working, but to notice the compulsion to do that in close relationship, and then to question, what's the payoff I'm getting from that? Sometimes it's really important to process, to work through some challenges. A lot of times it is. But when it becomes a little bit of an addictive behavior because we're getting intimacy from it, that's something I want to be more aware of. So I hope this was helpful. Just wanted to share a little bit about my process right now, and I'll keep exploring, open to your comments, feedback, thoughts as well. Okay.